Hi friends, I am Shweta Jain, partner RSA Legal Solutions. Welcome to the daily updates on the RSA video channel. So thank you very much for watching our video pertaining to the mover scheme. I have received lots of queries on the phone call, on the email pertaining to the scheme, but obviously because the video was a 5-minute video and there were many things which were unaddressed, and therefore I received a lot of queries. So in this video, I am typically addressing all the queries which I have received. Obviously thereafter also there could be many open points, but still I will try to cover as many points as I can. So the first query which I received was, I'll go one by one, is typically who is eligible for the mover scheme. So the answer to this is that any person who is citizen of India or any entity which is incorporated or registered in India. So any partnership firm, any company, or any individual person also is eligible for the mover scheme. Is it necessary to export? Next question. So the answer to this is that no, it is not necessary to export. There is no export obligation. In fact, you can make your 100% sales in the DTA, domestic tariff area also. There is no obligation to export. Next, do I have to mandatorily import raw material under the mover, or I can procure raw material domestically also? So the answer lies here that there is no requirement that if you have taken the license under mover, that you have to necessarily import the raw materials. You can procure your raw materials domestically also, and sell the goods domestically also. Next, can I import only capital goods without any raw material? This is a very, very important question, because we have seen at times that many of our clients, they do not import any raw material. Uh, if they import, they typically do it under any exemption scheme. What they import is only the capital goods which are warehoused. The other raw materials, they clear it as home consumption on and claiming the exemption. So the answer lies to this query is that yes, you need not import raw material. You can just import the capital goods and you can defer the duty payment. Again, I would like to mention here that this is a duty deferment scheme. This is not a duty exemption scheme. And that is the precise reason why many importers who are licensed under mover scheme, they import the raw materials, and if they have any exemption on that, they claim it upfront on the while clearance of goods from the port to their warehouse. So they claim that exemption then and there. They don't tag those goods as warehoused goods, and therefore the only goods which they receive under mover is the capital goods. So since they have claimed the duty exemption, then in that case, once the goods are manufactured out of those raw materials and cleared into the DTA, thereafter there will be no liability on them to pay any customs duty, since they have claimed the exemption. When do I pay duty on capital goods? This is also very, very important question, because capital goods are there in your factory maybe for 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, depending upon the life of the capital goods. So is there are queries pertaining to, is it that on the capital goods there is some kind of apportionment to be done, or how it is to be done? So the answer to this is that the duty needs to be paid at the time of discarding or scrap sale of the capital goods, and that too, if they are exported back, the capital goods are exported back, then you're not required to pay any duty. If the capital goods are cleared in the domestic area, then in that case you will be required to pay the customs duty. How is the duty to be paid on capital goods? This is a but natural corollary question of the first question, that previous question, that then how it is to be paid. So here you will have to pay the full customs duty which you did not pay at the time of import of those capital goods. There will be no depreciation benefit as such available to you, meaning thereby, suppose a company imports the capital goods today under the mover scheme, it doesn't pay any customs duty, and after 10 years or 15 years, it sells those capital goods out of the mover bonded warehouse into the DTA. Then in that case, you will be liable to pay duty which you had not paid today, full duty, When we say you will not be claiming exemption, you will not be claiming depreciation, that means that depreciation for the purposes of calculation of duty, not the depreciation under the Income Tax Act or the depreciation under the company law. This question was asked to me by some. Now next, can my existing factory be converted into mover? Yes, your existing one can be converted, or a new factory can be taken under mover. Will a unit license under 65 and sections 58 be under the physical control of customs? The answer is no, because many people have this understanding based on the warehouses which are under section 58, that there will be physical control of the customs, meaning thereby whenever the goods move out or come in, there will be customs officers. The answer is no. It will be like a regular any other unit. However, it will be subject to post audits like any other normal importer also. So a normal DTA importer also, if he imports any goods, if he exports any goods, or so in that case also he is subject to audit. Similarly, the person taken registration license under mover, he is also subject to audit. Can the license be obtained when factory is under construction? Yes, the license can be obtained when the factory is under construction. It's not because many a times when the capital goods are imported, at that time during the construction of the shed itself, the plant and machinery needs to be installed. So at that time, the people can obtain the license under mover and defer their duty payment on the capital goods. Is renewal required? This is very important. Is it for a time period or how it works? The answer is this is a lifetime benefit. There is no expiry to this. Till the time you are in default or there are some other issues with the customs department, you can avail the benefit. There is no renewal required of it. So you get a license lifetime to import duty-free goods, whether capital goods or raw materials. For how long the duty deferment is available? Is the interest applicable? The answer is that duty deferment is applicable till its clearance. And for the question pertaining to interest, no, the interest is not applicable. What will be the treatment of restricted items? So if there is an item which is restricted and which is to be imported into mover, so whether you can forego that license and just directly import into mover, the answer is no. You need to obtain the license from the DGFT for the restricted item and then only import into mover, just like a normal DTA unit. So these are my some queries which I received from many of our clients, known people on the mails, over the calls. I hope this session is useful and knowledgeable to you. In case you have any further queries, do email me. The email is in the detail. The email ID is mentioned in the details of the video. Thank you very much for watching. Do like, share and subscribe the video. Thank you very much.